Oops. Okay. Right. Hang on a second and turn this down.
Now, are you putting it on our pages, or should we just take it from yours and put it on our own page?
I can take it from mine because they don't give you the option to tag anybody anymore. So
Okay.
It's live on my page now.
Yeah, live on. Yeah, I've just put it on.
Yeah, I've just done it on mine as well. Oh, that was weird. I'm looking at you all on Facebook and there's a delay.
Okay.
All right, here we are. Today is 11/11. So it's the 11th of November and there is a 2-2 gateway and 11/11 gateway. And this is the 101st Love Speaks Love. And it took me a little while to get this one together. It wasn't really very clear who it was I was supposed to ask until Maryanne put a little post up, a little dragon post, and tagged me, Zahara and Gayatri in it. And when I saw that post, I went, "Ooh!" I got pinged by it, and I thought, maybe that's who I ask on for the next show. And it actually flowed ridiculous, considering there's three of us in various time zones. It actually flowed ridiculously easy within about 3 sentences of us trying to come together. I think, Maryanne, it was your suggestion to do it today, which just seemed absolutely perfect. So here we are. This is Love Speaks Love. For those of you who are new to this, I'm Denise, your host. And today I have 3 guests. I have Maryanne Savino, I have Zahara Celestial, and Gayatri Singh. Welcome, you 3. It's really lovely to share space with you. It's been a few weeks since I've done Love Speaks Love, but it's been ages since I've really connected with you. And I don't think the 4 of us have ever actually been together in one space. So this feels very magical. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So as per normal, I'm going to start off with a little getting into our heart space, connecting to our bodies, connecting to Gaia. So I invite us all to bring our awareness to our heart space in the center of our chest. Breathing in love and breathing out anything of the day so far, or the day ahead, or the week. Anything that may be stopping you from being in this now moment. And using our breath to shed anything that we are ready to let go of. Using our breath to be in our heart space, to be in this now moment, and to feel ourselves fully present in our physical vessels. So extending that heart awareness out and feeling the 4 of us together in a little diamond. And even though we're not physically present together, it kind of feels like we are. And seeing us all in a beautiful outside space. And feeling that surrounding us are the elementals, the dragons, our multidimensional aspects, and our galactic and star families, and all the others. So feeling all of our hearts joined together as one. And extending our heart awareness out to the heart of Gaia. Feeling ourselves present within her crystal diamond heart. And feeling Gaia's love for all of us and her gratitude. And breathing that love into every cell of our bodies. And extending that heart awareness out to the heart of the sun. Sending love and gratitude through our hearts to the heart of the sun. And feeling those beautiful solar energies moving into our bodies, into our hearts, into every cell. And extending that heart awareness out to the heart of Source Creator. And feeling those beautiful source energies being embodied by our beautiful bodies. And again, just my awareness is going to the dragons. Feeling their strength. And their gratitude. And their love. So breathing deeply with our awareness in our heart. And opening your eyes if they're closed whenever you're ready. So welcome everybody that's watching, either live with us on Facebook or on the replay or on YouTube. So I will hand the talking stick over to whichever of you wishes to pick it up. I don't know if you want to share a little of how you are, how the energies have been for you, anything at all. For me, I've been very much feeling that in the lead up to this 11/11, the energies have been super, super strong. I've been very inward the last couple of days and very much working on my physical body. But it doesn't feel like it's going to let up anytime soon. I feel these big waves are just keeping on going. All right, who would like to go first?
Me. Yeah, I agree. These energies. Thank you, by the way, for inviting me. This is a treat. It's the 11/11, and been connecting myself very much to the dragon energy and the fairies. A lot of dragonfly energy for some reason for me coming up really strong, and turtle energy. Yes, the energies have been quite something. I have these moments where I experience going into the depth of it because we're still in Scorpio right now. Sun is still in Scorpio, and it can be quite intense. And then I have these moments of just resting, releasing, and surrendering to these energies and just being in that place of surrender, which I think is quite helpful at these times when we are experiencing the intensity. It's not always easy, but if we can remind ourselves, can I just take a deep breath and just let it out and surrender into this space right now, whatever it is. I feel like what's happening, and I've been speaking to a number of people about it, we're going through these timeline changes so quickly now. It's not new. I mean, we've been going through it, but I think something that's happening for myself, and I've spoken, as I said, with others, is there's this awareness that's coming through really strongly that we are really living multidimensionally. Like I went on a hike yesterday in a beautiful preserve that, you know, every color of the leaves were out. I mean, it was just a beautiful cornucopia of color therapy and peace and quiet. And I felt at moments that I just merged right in with the nature around me. And then I would have these flashing images of like my childhood, past life, something I did yesterday or the day before. And I'm like, what is going on here? This is like, it was almost feeling a little daunting for a moment because I couldn't get I thought I couldn't get centered. And what I realized, no, this is multidimensionality. This is what happens. These energies come in. Maybe it's something to let go of. Maybe it's something to make peace with. And in that moment that I realized that, I felt a shift. And I was with a friend and I was telling her what was going on. And she just looked at me with her mouth open. I said, what's the matter? Do I have green hair or something? She said, no, I'm experiencing the same thing, but I didn't know how to put it into words. I said, oh, thank you. I said, because I feel, you know, this gateway of coming into this 11/11, and we have 2 eclipses coming up, one next week and then 2 weeks following. You know, we get this opportunity. Can I step in to the part of me that chose to be on this earthly, beautiful plane of Mother Gaia at this time in humanity? Can I step in to the essence of why I came here? And what is that essence for me? Is to love and be loved. Even in the midst of the chaos, even in the midst of the craziness around us, even in our own challenges and difficulties. Can I honor all of that? Because I'm not going to try to push it away and deny it, because if it's happening, it's happening. But I don't have to get plugged in. I can say, okay, I acknowledge you, but I'm going to come back here. I'm going to come back to that place of peace, of calm, of love, of connecting and sharing that, you know, with others. Can I be that essence of who I came here to actually be, of that essence of love, to love and be loved, to give it, to receive it, to be it. So that's what's been coming up for me. I'm not saying it's always easy, but the beauty of it is there's strong, infinite possibilities. Yes. Yes, I can. And yes, I am.
Beautiful. And I think you've just nailed it there. It's so much is about whatever's going on. And so, you know, even the fear, we can feel the fear.
Yes.
It's not necessarily about not feeling the fear, but it's about what you do with it once you've got it. And can you, from that space, you know, come back? Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, maybe I'll step in now. It's been quite intense past few months. I've been in and out, zoning out most of the time, and then I have to, you know, like remind myself that I'm here. Early this year, I had Merlin coming in quite a bit, you know, to guide me. And he specifically showed me, you know, it's like we were walking on this road, and he said to me, just look in front, don't look on the sides, because you don't want to get pulled into it. So I was curious to see what is on the sides. I mean, what is it? You know, it's like when you say, don't do this, you've got to at least know that don't is. So I looked on the side and there was complete chaos on both sides of the road. It was like a war zone. I couldn't believe my eyes. So I said, okay, now that makes sense. He said, just keep your eyes in front and focus on where you have to go. Don't let anything pull you into it. And it's been tough because there are times when you know, even if it's not your own thing, you feel what's going on outside. So I've been feeling like really, really low sometimes. And there's so much grief and sadness that it's hard to take on, because it's not, I mean, not totally mine. I'm sure it's not all mine, but what do you do with it? So I was asking, you know, what am I supposed to do when I'm feeling all of this, you know, the other stuff which doesn't feel good and it's not mine? What do I do with it? So it's not just about, you know, us not knowing how to deal with it. He said to me, you have the codes and this is the door. So this was like me and Merlin having a conversation where there was this golden door and there was no lock on it, or you couldn't figure out how to open it. Okay, so he said, all you have to do is put your hands on the door and you have the codes, so open the door. So I put my hands on the door and the door opened. I went on the other side and there was nothing there. It was just source. It was just bliss, you know. It's like our side was total chaos, and on the other side of that golden door was just source. And he said, that's what you have to do. Take it all from here and go surrender it to source. And once you've done that, you don't have to think about it anymore. And I've managed to do it a couple of times, but then, you know, it's like some days you're just totally low, and I say, okay, maybe I'm not even good enough to go and open the door, but I do manage to do that a couple of times, and it's worked. I mean, obviously it has to work. So that's what you do. Anything that's going on with us right now, all this chaos and confusion and sadness and sorrow, and, you know, people not knowing what to do with their lives anymore. Everyone is in such a flux. They don't know where they're going. But it's not important to know where we are heading. It's important to know what you have to do right now in this present moment. And all you do is just surrender. Anything that comes to you, just surrender it, because it's not yours to take. It's no longer a burden that we need to carry with us. So just surrender it all and let it go, and it vanishes. Magically it vanishes. So that's all. I mean, it's been tough physically, but otherwise I'm managing quite well.
Thank you. Merlin's very wise, isn't he?
Yeah. It's quite a miracle how he just pops up when I'm like really low, and it's like, okay, there's no one around, but he's there, and he does guide you, and it's all very clear once the guidance comes in. So there is no confusion anymore. You know, it's like, because it's hard to even recognize ourselves anymore. I'm not the same person what I was even a month back. So it's like some days you feel you've just lost everything that you know. I'm not sure if I can even do the same things anymore, but it's all there, and it just needs to, we just need to get to the point where everything is just going to be reassembled and put back for us to get on with our journey. So this is a time we just need to be very, very patient.
I think
so before we got onto the call, I was shuffling my cards, and I one of the cards popped out, And I'll just briefly share it with you, then we can maybe later get into the light language and all of it. Flexibility. So that's what we need. We just need to be flexible and just go with the flow, because there's no way that we can do anything about it. Everything has to fall apart. Everything has to break down for us to build the new. So we just got to be patient, be flexible, go with the flow, turn around, and we will. It's not that we will get there. I was shown that we are already there. We made it on the other side. And everything that's going on right now is just the echo of everything that has happened. So it's us looking back, because we use time, and time is slow. So we've made it to the other side, and now we're just looking back at everything that happened before we got onto the other side. So that's quite a relief. And on the other side, it's all good. None of this confusion, none of this drama that's going on, none of it is there. We made it to the other side. So congratulations.
I remember years ago being told about learning about flexibility and learning to be flexible, because we, you know, at some point in the future, we were going to need to be flexible. And I was pondering over that today, and like, yeah, these are those times that we were talking about. So yeah, that really, I really resonate with that card. And I love what Maryanne said as well about just keeping on track, no matter what's going on around there. And sometimes we might get pulled over a bit, but then
yeah, I
I
did when my son got COVID. And before I knew it, it was like within seconds, I was into it. Until then, I was like focused on where I'm going. I don't really need to bother about the world in one sense. But as soon as my son got COVID, I was in the whole drama. And it was a nightmare. I was then instructed to open a portal in my house and send in the energies into the grids and close the portal that was on India, because what I saw was like this, like a whirlpool, and it was a huge vortex that had opened on the entire country. And this was in April, and it was sucking the energies out. So the entire country was being harvested. And I was shown that, you know, you need to close the portal and do some grid work so that, you know, it doesn't get so bad. It was already quite severe by the time I got into it. So I don't know whether it was done deliberately, or maybe this is something that I had to do, and I wouldn't bother doing it if I was not pulled into it. So I guess it was all divinely orchestrated, because it was really bad. But then after that, I managed to get back on track and get on with my work. So yeah, just open the golden door into source and just keep sending all the stuff out, because we no longer have to process it through us. We've been doing that for many years, but that's not needed anymore. We don't need to, you know, purge it through us. So we can just flick it off on the side.
Beautiful. Thank you. Zahara.
Hello. I've just been listening. I mean, I resonate with everything, and so beautiful to be here in this space. With Maryanne, with the dissolving, the merging of dimensions. I was recently in a dream state, and in that dream, I was aware I was dreaming. So then it went into lucid dreaming, and then I realized it was a dimension that I'd actually been living in. So then I realized it wasn't just a dream, but there's often that we're it's been described as we've been in a dream. So I've not trained myself to lucid dream or had a desire to lucid dream. And I think in a way that's dissolving even that label, because we're expanding our conscious states of being. And so that was a few nights ago. And I could remember everything as I walked across this landscape and met people. I knew everything. I knew I've walked here and I've lived here and that tree. And I'm like, wow, this is, and I was aware, like, I've lived here in this dimension, but I now no longer need to be in that dimension as well. So there's a kind of a letting go of being in certain dimensions as well. And then I had the most intense fear clearing of the past. Really intense. And what's brilliant or amazing is how quickly I moved through it. It was so, we're being able to, we're raised our vibration. I say we, because I feel so many of us have, and maybe some people may not have realized they have. So we spatially can contain more density when we drop down into that density, and then we've got the light resonance around to support us, so then we can come up really quickly. But when we're in it, whoa, it was I'm like, whoa, it was like just being able to go boom and then up again. And that was what was incredible. And there's been sort of different ways that people have been needing to, if they need to, explore clearing just before this. It's a gateway, another gateway, another gateway, another gateway. And then something you were saying, Gayatri, I just remember the guidance coming last year about what's happening now. And it's like they will say things to me and I will not understand it because I'm not experiencing it in this linear way yet. And now I remember when they said that, and I'm like, oh, now that really makes sense. Now I know why they said that. I kind of sort of looking at what is it like for them, because they're these guys, beings, they're more in the multidimensional resonance, but they're also very unique as well, and they will pop something in occasionally, just as a gift. and I love what you said about, I had the whole thing about folding time. We're folding time, we're coming full circle. So when you said, Gayatri, about we're there already but we're looking back, that makes sense with what Maryanne, you're talking about, and how that got me reflecting on my awake state and my dream state, and the folding of time. Somehow everything's, I don't know, it's like on the tip of my tongue, but I can't quite grasp it. There's so much that's shifting and evolving, and there's so much, it feels we're expanding and we're contracting at the same time. That phrase, at the same time, I can't even speak. I mean, I've been saying that for a while. The phrases that we use are not up to scratch, really, because it's so amazing. But I went deep to, and then it hung around for a day, and then such light. And I got dragonfly yesterday. As well. And then I was thinking, oh, dragon flying. And also they have 2 lives. I mean, they are so awesome. They have that fearsomeness in the water, and then they have a whole other life up in the air above the water. I'll just stop now. But one thing, when you're talking about Merlin, because I'm sure all of us, we work on the different levels and dimensions and very sort of kind of galactic shamanically, I could say. And so as I was walking back to be ready for here, blackthorn really spoke to me, and there was this blackthorn part of this hedge, and I looked at it, it was like perfect for a walking stick. I've got one already, which I bought in from Ross on Wye. No, Hay on Wye. I get the Ross and the Way in Wales, up a bit further up. But I'm like, oh, to make my own walking stick. And then I thought, blackthorn. Now that's strong magic, and blackthorn is all about being able to cleanse and purify and clear, and it's also about protection, but it's linked with like Kalaish, the sort of crone.
Can I just put in a word there? When you said blackthorn, I got a vision. It's not about a walking stick. It's a staff. You've got to make a staff out of it, and you'll be doing a lot of work with it on the land. So
Yes.
you need to get it into like a staff with maybe some crystals that need to be on there, and then you've got to go and put it into the ground.
Yes,
I mean, the grid work that you do.
Yeah, sorry, I keep interrupting because it's all very exciting. Thank you for that. Because Merlin, very much in this land where I am, and Merlin kept on going boom with this staff.
Yep.
Boom, boom, boom to me. I'm like, whoa.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah, it's like and I've had all sacred geometry. Now I've not been connected to it, but I've connected with a lot of things, but since yesterday, suddenly something's opened up and like sacred geometry everywhere. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to get to learn how to draw. But yeah, that's all part of the grid work, and the mountain I'm right by. Everyone around me don't go to it. They go to, and then I went to this other mountain, the hill. That everyone else, they all go there. They don't go to the one that I'm by. And you look from there, and the one I'm by is actually in the center of the whole valley. And anyway, so I it's sacred up there. It's absolutely sacred. There's a reason why I'm at the base of this place.
And it's the Andara crystal that you need to carry with you wherever you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talked about the sacred geometry. That's what I was finding in the leaves yesterday when I would look at the colors, these intricate little lines and shapes, and even the way some of the leaves were crumbling, they had a very intricate, symbols to them. And I thought, this is like everywhere. And then looking at the formation of the rocks where I was, and even in the water, the way the rippling, it's like it's embedded within everything.
Yes.
We just don't always realize.
Yeah. It's beautiful when that I had that a few weeks ago, and it's not like it was psychedelic, but it was in the 3D. So something had obviously shifted in my state of being that I could see it alive. Sometimes it does feel a bit like I can feel the energy and see the energy, but this was sacred geometry.
Yeah, the codes are living beings. They're not just codes there. So it's like working with different entities, if you may put it, but they're all living. So but that's what the Andaras are doing, and so are the dragons. They're helping us get the codes and plant them. It's like we're seeding the new earth through us. So we're just planting the seeds wherever we go, and once that the entire mapping of the whole grid is done, we will just very easily shift, and it's not going to be the same reality anymore.
And I think that's
It's
why
definitely not. Yeah.
it takes the time, for the phrase, it takes the time.
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 You're looking back. Yeah, we've done
Um,
it. We've done it. We've made it to the other side, and now we're just looking back at everything that we have been through. That's all.
I think
It's like the
Because
human,
it's slow.
the human part of us has to catch up.
yeah, that's what I was going to say, catch up humans.
Right.
It's like, where are you? Or, you know, well, what am I doing here? It's like, come on, you can do it, you know, but of
Yeah.
course we chose a human existence. I have to remind myself, you came here to be human, honor your human existence, you know, honor the soul, but honor your human, because more and more I'm realizing that, and that's the multidimensional part, that it's all existing together, and the catching up and the connecting. And the other thing I've noticed, because you were all talking about, I can't remember in the words you put, but it's like trying to make sense of it with the human mind doesn't even cut it, because it's a sensory that goes beyond. And I'm not saying don't honor the human mind. It's curious, it wants to know things, but we all know that our little, you know, elfin ego in there that likes to get into mischief and trouble, it's like, oh, go away already, you know, because it can really interfere. So it's like, yes, maybe we question things, we are curious, but when we go to that place that already knows, that's already there, like you said, it's like, well, can I bring that energy into my human right now, in this moment, while I am in this fleshy, bony, you know, vehicle, because I'm here and I want to honor that. And it can be daunting because you're, you know, trying to navigate all of this, but the surrender, that's the key. That patience and surrender, that is the divine mother, that is the feminine. And it's not to say don't honor the masculine. We have to honor all of it. That's the action, the ideas, but that sacred mother of life, of surrender into all of this right now and be.
Right. To receive, we have to be in the feminine aspect. That's when we receive. The masculine is about the action, about doing what we have to do. And then once you've done it, you have to let it go. And to receive it, you have to then step into your feminine aspect and just allow it to happen. So I think that's where most of us struggle, because we're all the time trying to make something happen, and we forget that we've got to let it go in order for it to come to us. So that's something we need to remind ourselves often.
This is a totally different state of being, isn't it? Like you say, it's from that kind of fixed force, predict, decipher, control, understand, even that can limit. And I've been definitely opening up to, I think it's like 3 years ago, surrendering into being held divinely. Surrendering isn't giving up.
Right. That's
so
right.
Everything is, there's been like a distortion of what that really is from the old paradigm. And when you can, but you have to release that code, that program of surrender, and you can't tell someone how to do that. You can't, you know, and I've just been learning more and more about surrendering to that. And that's about trusting myself, trusting the bigger picture, trusting each other. I don't have to fix you, I don't have to fix me. And then it's like, oh, what a relief. I'm not carrying all this baggage, burden, fix everything because, oh, I'm not good enough, or you're not good enough, or oh, fuck that, sorry. You know, enough of that.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I'm actually, it's interesting because I'm feeling quite passionate. Obviously, I feel quite passionate about that, because I'm enough already, enough of that lack resonance that we felt that we kept us safe. So I also want to honor that, but also part of me is like, enough already.
Be like the magical child. who wants to play with the dragonflies and the dragons and the fairies and just be in the moment of the blissfulness of the magical energies. We don't, we're not, we're programmed, like you said, keep going, keep busy. Well, that's not smart. That's not practical. Cares? I just want to be a child for this moment and be in the pleasure of the moment of feeling into the blissfulness. With all that chaos going on around me, can I have this moment of bliss? Yes, I'm going to give myself this time of bliss, and nobody is going to stop me. It's really stepping into that, the Kali mother, that strong, powerful, like, yes, and it's coming up strong.
How that became radical is so bizarre. To be natural, to be here, everything is abundance, and to, like you said, Maryanne, to be love, to give and receive love, which is all the beauty that inherently we are. And I can feel like the dragon sort of energy really coming in there, encompasses all that, like the Kali and the playfulness and the wildness, because there's like rawness to,
yes,
I think that's what we're scared of. I think it's not just me, what is that inside, that divinity, that
Force. Yeah, it's experiencing that force we've never experienced before. But I'm sure we have. It's just that we've forgotten about it because we've been suppressed, and we've been programmed to such a point where you just deny your existence and just do whatever you're told to do. And I think now it's a good time. People are waking up. They're standing up and speaking for themselves. So the fear is the worst disease, and that's something we need to step away from and just trust ourselves and just go with it.
Maybe
we have
that needs the love. I kind of look at the fear as a lost orphan child, that maybe if we infuse the love into the fear, then it doesn't have to show up in this big scary monster, and then we're pulled into it on a chain. Like, it's like, no, I'm gonna love that part of me that I deny, or love that fear into the light, the shadow into the light, because we can't live without our shadow. It's what shows us the light. It helps us remember I am love. Without it,
it's important.
Yeah.
The lack and the fear feels like such a distortion now. Like, for so many years, it's just natural. It's how we've been, as you say, programmed. But it's really starting to feel unnatural now. It's really started to feel like a distortion, like it doesn't fit in. It's got such kind of like, especially the survival and the lack, it's got such a kind of spiky membrane, and it's like it doesn't fit in anymore. But I think you're right, Maryanne, what softens those spikes is the love. That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
What does the 1111 gateway mean to you, if anything? If there's anything you want to share on that, like anything of the resonance of this? Because to me, the 11 is one on one. It's about the golden child energy as well. It's about one on one coming together. It's about collaboration. It's
connection,
co-creating.
Yeah, balance.
Yeah, we're free now to co-create anything we want. It's just that we have to know what we want. Most often people don't know what they want. I mean, I can speak for myself as well, but yeah, I'm getting there. So it's about co-creating anything that we want. We can make it happen. It's just that we've got to trust and know that we have the power to do anything. As long as we're not misusing our power, we're good to go.
Yeah, it's this constant flow of change. I think you said it earlier about I'm not who I was yesterday. So it's like, what do I want to create today? And then it's like, oh, do I need to create something new from what I was thinking about yesterday? It's an interesting, I go back and forth and I think, well, that's because you're here. What about go right here for a moment? What is that feeling of what you desire? Because that's in the emotional body, that's in the heart energy. Like, what is in me that wishes to express from the purest place of my soul? And we don't tend to go there because, like you said, we get programmed. And
Right.
it's a constant reminder. Can I just remember? I write it in a journal. Can I remember who I am and why I came here? You know, just it's divine remembrance, as well as, yes, perhaps we're learning, we're experiencing, but within all of that is a divine remembrance. That to me is also that 11, you know, that 11. Yes, it's the one, you know, the merging, the connection, you know, that I am one with God. I am one with the universe, with the life force that lives within me, that indwells. Maybe I forget sometimes, but I'm not going to give myself a hard time because I forget, because that's just the child who's frightened, or the ego who it doesn't want to rock the boat because it's like, no, I better stay in the comfort zone of what's familiar, or otherwise something's going to happen to me. And then you turn, it's like the one face, it's like you're looking at yourself on the most purest level and saying, but you're so, you know, you look to that wounded child or that ego aspect that's frightened, but you're so beautiful. You're so amazing. If you could only see what I feel and see of you, it's like we have to constantly remind, it's a reminder of this is who I really am.
Yeah.
And it's about those ones and ones coming together and merging. I love what you did there. It really felt like, you know, that mirroring as well of everything around us kind of being us, reflecting back, and the one, yeah, the polarities, the inner polarities coming together. It feels like there's a lot of energy helping with that, helping us to be in that neutral space, in that heart space, in that kind of 0 point energy and balance.
Yeah.
Me, different perspective. I'm reviewing how I've journeyed over the recent years with waking up to these gateways, these significant dates, these numbers, how I used to feel something's going to be done to me, through me, it's a thing that's occurring, to now being aware that I have choice, I'm a co-creator, we will have different experiences on these dates, these gateways. We're very diverse, and it's all meant to be like that. And so I feel at this time I'm in a reflective mode. There's a going within, but also I'm getting really strong like lion and lion energy with there's this solar energy, source vibration, and really coming in really powerfully, which I've not experienced before on the 11/11. So I feel there's a wider perspective that's coming in for me during this resonance. Being able to maybe say it's the one on one and being reflected, being able to look to the sun. I mean, that's a huge activity, presence, prayer that people do is look, you know, can we look to the sun? Will we be blinded by the light? But yes, I just wanted to drop that in.
for the dragon, I'd love to hear I was debating whether to ask you how you started to connect with dragons, but also kind of what they mean to you and how it either feels to work with them or anything really around that you want to share about the dragons, because it really feels, not that to me they've never felt like they've gone away, but they're really making their presence known, particularly at the moment.
Are you asking me?
I'm asking anybody that wants to share.
Okay. So let's start with Maryanne.
Oh, okay. It's funny. I was going to come up. It's interesting. Of course, as a child, dragons were fascinating. Fairies, dragons, gnomes, and okay, that, children love to connect in, what we think are fairy tales. But what's interesting for me, how the dragon came into my life was through dance, believe it or not. And I'll just short, it's not much of a story. When you look at when I look at the dragon, all the elements are contained within the dragon. People assume, oh, it's just, they're fire spewing and they fly. But first of all, yes, they are fire spewing. So we have the fire element. They have wings, the air element, but they also go into water and they're on the earth. So the dance that I was studying from Egypt, it was a sacred temple dance, had all the movements and all the energies of all those pieces. And that's when I really started to feel that dragon come alive in me as an adult, as a woman. And it was so different from little Maryanne with, with the sword going after, riding on top of the dragon and ready to slay everybody. And, now it was like, I am the dragon and I'm the dance of the dragon. The fire comes up, the water is cleansing me from within. The earth has got me and holding me in stability, and the air is the freedom to fly. So you bring in, and then spirit is within all of that. So that's how I connect to the dragons. For me personally, that's my main way. It's not the only way, but that's how dragon came to me, through me. And I'm very grateful that dragon came through me that way.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just because I was aware that was 4 of us. I was thinking,
Oh yeah.
a few days before, I was like, which one would as there's 4 and the 4 main elements, and then you got the 5th element, spirit. But I was thinking, who's fire, who's water, who's earth, and I'm like, I don't know about that. And then I kind of dismissed
all 4 merged.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. 11. We're just mirroring all 4 elements into each other and into whoever's listening. So how did you get to the dragons?
Me.
Yeah.
Well, I was aware because I live in London, the city of London, actually physically there's dragons they've made that guard the city, the main where St. Paul's is in the heart of it. All the roads that go into the actual city of London have dragons. And then I heard I always used to be really upset about St. George and the dragon and all the images of St. George slaying the dragon. And then I heard the original myth, or I heard Mark Rylance at a talk saying that actually St. George, he goes to the cave to find the feminine, and he gets off his horse and he sings to the dragons. So the dragon comes out and he continues to sing, and then the dragon then morphs or reveals herself as the divine feminine. And that was the original, and he said that was the original myth. But I actually, other than those very tangible things while I was in London, I feel dragons been always with me, because I actually can't remember a time when I suddenly woke up, because dragon is dragon is everywhere. Having said that, I actually do about memory loss, with all the changes and evolution. Every time I would go to Wales, where I'm now living, I could tangibly feel the presence of dragon. You go over the estuary from Bristol, you go over the bridge, but I could feel the presence of dragon. But so that's obviously been calling me here. But since I've been here, I've not been feeling dragon though. But over the years, I would just feel the call to this land where dragon is. But I've always loved and felt the love and the energy and the beauty of dragon. And it only when we did the Voices of the Light tribe, that I was there with Denise and Rita Melchizedek coordinate this thing at Glastonbury. So that's relatively recent that I fully experience the avatar dragon aspect come in, and that was immense. And that was because Lisa Raven brought in a massive gong. I haven't seen a gong so big. So being in Glastonbury with everybody there at that potent time, with the sound of the gong, and I had it was 5 weeks leading up to that, and it wasn't just that happened. So it was a connection with divine feminine, the rose energy in Glastonbury, and this dragon aspect came in, and it was immense. And it took being in that environment, being held for me being held in that environment and context and energy for that, and to that, for me to fully feel the reality of that presence.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, that's good. Well, my story, I think everyone knows. I had a spontaneous awakening with the dragons. I had no idea what I was experiencing when they first came. I was clearing my land, my house. And once I had done that, I could feel this energy all around me and I couldn't see it. So I asked what it was, and they said they're the dragons. So I said, what am I supposed to do with you? Why are you around me? And they said, you have to work. We are here to work with you. And that's the reason you were put on this land, specifically so that you can, connect from here to everywhere and seed the grids. So I said, I would like to see you. And they said, I have to start painting them. So that seemed like quite a task, because I had never painted before. I don't know how to paint. Even now, I really don't know how to paint. So I trusted the guidance, I'll say. And then I made one painting, and I didn't make it. It just happened on its own. So I made this image of a dragon, which at first to me looked like a bird. But then, I said, whatever is coming through, I just got to go with it. So I made the first dragon. And when I finished that first painting, then I was just flooded with dragons every day. It was like huge. It was like a floodgate that had opened. And this was the first dragon. that came through. And that's why I call it boundaries, because I was clearing my land and I had to set up new energetic boundaries for, there was a breach. Somebody tried to get into the house. So after that, there was no looking back. Every day I was painting. I had to tell them to, back off, because I couldn't keep up the pace. And they can be very forceful. They can bully you. They have a way with you. So I had to, be very firm, and I had to tell them to back off. And every day I painted for 1 year. And after I had finished about 50 paintings, it stopped. There was nothing coming through. So I thought, okay, this is it. Paintings are done, and I'm sitting here with so many dragons. Now what? So after a few days, they said that I have to take it forward, and the codes and the colors and the frequency that has been put into the paintings has to be made available for everyone to use. And so that's when the best thing to do was to make oracle cards. So then I made the deck, and it was not very easy, because soon after that I had the weirdest experience anyone can have. It was physical. I actually, not in the real sense, but it was all like giving birth. I went through the labor pains. I woke up with my, like I was giving birth. And because I've given birth, so I know what that's like. I couldn't get up from the bed for about 20 minutes because I was stiff and I was dying of pain. And once that experience had gone out of me, I realized that I had given birth to 48 dragons. So that was strange. And at the same time, it was not scary in any way, but it was like, that's the weirdest thing anyone can do. How am I giving birth to 48 dragons? What's wrong with me? So anyway, so that's what it was. So I guess
What a journey.
What a journey. It was special. It was very special. And I don't think it's ever going to happen again in any other way, but it was all just a huge surprise for me. I had no idea what I was doing, even while I was painting them. I had no idea what was coming after that. But since then, it's like just been dragons and dragons and dragons. Sometimes they step back. Sometimes they, like take a break, and I can feel it, because then I don't sense them anywhere. And then it's like, okay, maybe I start missing them. So then they sort of come in and out again. But yeah, it's been quite a journey.
You mentioned that you had 50 paintings, but your card deck is 48. What happened to the other 2 dragons?
No, there was many more after that, quite a few after that. But I was told to pick 48 for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay. Maybe that's the next deck, the ones left over.
I'm not sure if I would make another deck, simply because, I don't want to repeat the same thing again. But I was thinking, it's not just dragons. There's been other beings that have come through, like Merlin, for instance. I painted him. Anubis came through. Quite a lot of past life journeys came through with my lifetimes in Egypt. So there's quite a few paintings from Egypt that I've done, and maybe not another deck. I don't know. I just don't feel it right now. So I don't know what's going to happen. I was thinking of maybe making journals with, like 3 paintings and 1 journal with 3 paintings, but I don't feel it right now. So I don't know what's going to happen next. Mm-hmm. I'll go with it as soon as I get the instructions. But till then, I'm just sitting around, maybe just need some rest. Who knows? I'll be busy soon.
I'll share some of my, I've just been feeling in like which of the dragon experiences shall I share. So similar as a child, there was a dragon puppet. I think it was a soup dragon from the Clangers that was in the form of a puppet. And so you could move the wings, like you could actually fly the dragon. And then when I moved to Australia and started writing a book, I didn't have the overall story written or in my head even when I started writing, and I didn't realize that it was actually about a dragon's egg that needed saving. And one thing I found after the book was finished and I was doing some grid work, I found myself calling in one of the dragons from the book, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. These dragons that I'm writing about are not in my imagination. They're very much real. And I think anyone that does grid work is working with dragons, whether it's consciously or not. You're right.
Well, yeah.
And I wasn't going to share this, but as soon as you shared yours, I'll share this as well. This is one that I kind of keep a little bit quiet about, but actually at this time of year, because I remember all the leaves were falling, it was like raining leaves, but I'm pretty sure it was October rather than November. And I was sitting with my back leaning against a stone, and it's almost like a standing stone locally. And I've done a lot of activations there and done a lot of work connecting that spot with a particular spot in New Zealand as well. And on this day, I was just kind of looking up to the sky, and it's like I saw this very dark dragon. I think it was a dark green, but it looked almost black, kind of flying down, and it just didn't stop. And it came into my crown, and kind of, it was like a merge.
Wow. There
was no hello, no like, how are you doing? Is this all right? It just kind of happened, and I was like, oh, that was a bit weird. And then I was guided to kind of spread my legs basically and birth the eggs that had then kind of been created. And of course, you know, I'm fully clothed. This is all on an energetic level. So it was birthing those eggs into the grids basically. And often, like when I was in Glastonbury and I had my head on, it's often the dragon eye that I see. So when I found the egg stone, which is like a huge dragon egg, and I had my head leaning on the stone and my third eye, and I felt the earth move as well. It was very strange. It was like there was a little quake. I don't think there was, but that's how it felt. And looking deep into the stone, I saw an eye looking back at me, and it was a dragon's eye.
Mm-hmm. So when the eggs, did it have the fetus inside, or was it just the codes? You don't know?
It felt like both. It felt like they were kind of like dragons
coming in. Yeah, okay.
And it was something like, it was so out there, and I'd not heard of other people birthing dragon eggs or any other kind of, like, you know, anything along those lines.
That's so, what I didn't know, we could birth dragons. So.
Especially 48.
Yeah.
That's more than quintuplets. I mean, that's
right. And if you see me, I'm small. I mean, I'm my size. There was no way I could contain 48 dragons in me. So, yeah.
That shows how vast we are, aren't we? And I mean, I haven't had.
We have no clue.
No, yeah. Because we are vast inside, and that we are portals. Because I'm not birthed dragons, but when I went to the pyramids in Bosnia and went in the tunnels underneath, and I was walking through the tunnels, and then there was galactic beings that had been stuck in literally in time loops, and they started moving through me, so they could then move. Then they could move on. I'm like, excuse me, that's a bit rude. You know, what's going on? It's like, wow, I didn't realize I had that capacity to assist energy, beings to move through. So obviously you both have assisted these dragon beings, but we do that physically. We're doing that physically.
Well, the sensations are all physical, not that the dragons come through physically, but yeah, thank God for that. So
It's a good thing you're not breastfeeding 48 dragons.
no.
Oh, then
What's
No
that
way.
goddess who has several? Which goddess is that? Oh, was it Greek or Roman goddess? Anyway,
Breasts?
yeah, many breasts. I can't remember
Oh.
which goddess that is.
I want to share, actually, this is just dropped in to share as well. There was one time, this is probably about a year ago, and I was sitting in my garden, and I hadn't been here very long in this house, and I hadn't been out in the garden that much at night. And this day, I saw this gold kind of like coming in from here and kind of come down and then be sitting next to me. I felt a presence like pretty much right next to me, but it didn't feel very big. It kind of felt about kind of that big. And I could feel this gold presence. And it was really strong, like the energy was really, really strong. But when it didn't feel like a fairy, it felt too big. And the energy felt too big as well. It felt too immense.
Mm.
But when I asked, and when I kind of like asked to see, that was what I saw, a golden dragon. And the energy was beautiful. Like it was a little bit uncomfortable because whatever it was so close to me, but I also knew that it was completely safe. But I think I could feel that, because the energy of a dragon is like, I don't find it kind of scary, but I can understand why people would. But it's an intensity to their energy, and there is a fierceness to it, but also this real gentleness, this real motherly like heart energy. And that's always what I feel when I connect with the dragons. It's their immensely strong heart energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's not all external. It's not just like this energy that comes into us from the outside. What I understand of it was not that all external. It's not. It's our own energy that.
I'm sorry, Zahara.
It's our own. We tap into our own force, and it's really strong. It's something that we've never experienced before.
Yeah.
So I guess we just do it in stages, and then I guess there's more to come, and we would finally harness all of it.
Yeah,
at some point.
Happened. That's what happened to me with my dragon experience with the dance. It was inside of me. It was as if, where did this come from? How did I even not feel this ever? Because I wasn't ready. And the movements are 4 basic movements, which is the serpent, a bat or a bird, a dolphin or a fish, and either it could be a bull or a lion. But within all of that, because of the elements, comes this dragon. And
because you unlock, it's like unlock the seals. And once you did that, the force just came out.
It's through these movements that when I started doing that serpentine movement and even the watery movement, all of a sudden, yes, the seals peeled off and out comes the magic,
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely.
Yeah, it's one of the strongest forces you can experience. It's not scary, but it's something you've never experienced before. So it seems strange initially, but then you get used to it. and then you cannot live without it, and then that's
Yeah.
all you know. So
That's true.
yeah.
And that dragon that I merged with felt like it was me. It felt like it was a primal form of me. And
Aspect
often,
of you.
often with the fierce activations, the fierce light language activations that come through, and these days it's getting deeper, like the sound is getting much deeper as well. That feels very dragon. It feels very primal, and like that primal force is what's needed sometimes to bring new frequencies to land them in. You can't always just gently land those frequencies in. It's like it's a real force. Are we feeling any light languages about to wish to be shared?
Yeah, definitely. It's brewing for sure. Era costum agera cassur vasiari shanno secatur. Major vase allora kosha mosayakatu nije. Anus arovashem zozearonzar utkatari shalaho. Nashen ze kus urva hun mije kusoia kum. Avora age kuse gai ishema kota ia. Aluascenzia I ki si varon acusar a meage casu. Acutar e aveanij en zuzi jazacus urte. Alu shakasandor ishakasandere isha atua. Atua e katatate kusa fo amakosha kwa. Esakaton ishakatu shukut at ekata. Enoje ekasa makatu. That was definitely from my dragon heart to all of yours.
Kia orad kada arana kia ot ora ara a horna ist orad a ikt ot ust hol arad keard gut o ni orad kada a orna a it orad at o horad kia hol era no ho it ida arad gut a kikal keard gut or ni kada ot arad kia hol ihia arana ho it orn o it oya hoi it artiket o injost hal arno oit ordikt ai it oist at or ja arneki ert o it oist at a it oist ik art o hole arneki ert o ordikt de ert o pa I ert o a hel ja et jo un ord hole ert ka hordikt ert o oist artiket at a hol herneki rod on a wille herneki rod kut ort dar kut oi hol kiart o a de kut oi hui at ort de ai kut o ko rod o ta a hol hert dir kut hort kut on or oi Rale karla kita daran kutu un hale kerno hurt kita kiara tu kutu kutu a male kiara tu kunna wale kiara na kiara tu kutu kutu ka rale kiara tu kutu un ba kita I wale kiara kiara no koi oi la la ai 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 oi la 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 oi Usht aranai ikit arad oi. Borlaka et usht oya. Likewise from my dragon heart to all of yours.
Yasumno yasi anamoku yasi anamoku yasi anamoku yasi ano mo in yasi kiana toyan mo tui kitiana shogo toi mo ut et arkt I numonokut urke mo andar kuisk id an kuesianat we Koto koto yishkana mana kata rot id ad at or kut od mo Oi, si ki antosh kupa et I ki anna o tu e si ki and e gando pot od e. When mie mok I.
Ooh. Thank you, everybody. I could feel when I was, I'm just gonna, there was a lot of work being done in that area.
On the
yeah, I've been
stomach,
working on,
yeah.
yeah, and kind of where heart chakra and solar plexus kind of overlap, almost in that overlapping energy.
I also felt it go down to the womb chakra for a little bit, but I agree that heart, it was like an infinity symbol between the heart and the solar plexus. And then it just popped into the womb energy for a bit and came back up.
Nice. Are we feeling complete, or is there anything else that anybody wishes to share?
The Arcturian Dragons keep wanting to be mentioned, so I'll just mention them. I don't know. So being that their creation source, divine dragon, I think with all they just feel very resonant for me, the Arcturian Dragons at the moment, with the assisting with the clearing of the programming, with coming into alignment with divinity and source, and that beautiful divine pairing between those galactic resonance and dragon. So that's just wanted to mention that.
Thank you. Is there a specific light code that they would like to share with us?
I could tune in.
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay. Und en no na no gut gut leki ama at gut urski gut Muy soy gut yeah. So what we've been talking about, the grid, sacred geometry, merging with higher mind consciousness, with source energy, earthing, anchoring, seeding, calling on these beings when if we are called to resonate, when we're doing grid work in the land, they're bringing in a dimensional resonance. Mother Earth Gaia, a seed for all creation, all multi-dimensions, universes, in many dimensions coming in, and we can choose to play, create with different beings. This is why we're here. This is a grand stage. Mother Earth Gaia isn't just this planet. That's why all these galactic beings are coming around, coming here. So that divine twin resonance, if you like. Very crystalline diamond resonance.
Yeah. I heard them saying that we're all going through major activations, and our brains are being rewired. So we can call on them to assist us with the rewiring of the brain center, because I could feel a lot of clearing happening for me in the sinus part and my ears, and that's where I've had issues with past few months. So they will specifically assist us with doing the work on the circuits in the brain. Thank you.
Thank you. That makes sense. Yeah.
I wanted to share as well about.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Maryanne, did you want to go?
No, I was just going to say, as you said that about the brain, I got the nervous system is really being activated, and to really be gentle with yourselves, calming, soothing, gentle, keeping that overstimulated energy, don't get too pulled into that, because we're definitely going through upgrades, and the nervous system gets affected, especially if you're highly sensitive. So,
yeah.
I feel that the overlay of the fear body goes in here. And I've been working on this area for a few years, but particularly in the last few months. And I wonder if there's actually a nerve bundle there as well. I think part of the vagus nerve, it might
There
be
is.
to that.
There is a
Yeah.
nerve bundle there. Yeah.
And something I've been working with so much recently is rose energy. And when I tuned into this particular spot, I felt like there was what looked like a black rose there, but it wasn't really a rose. It was where this kind of fear body was bedded in.
Like a mesh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that. Yeah.
And when I was in Glastonbury and doing a lot of rose energy work, rose portal work on the land, and I saw these, in my mind's eye, I saw these crystalline roses, like not just that was the work I was doing, but that I could buy a crystal that looked like a rose that was shaped into the shape of a rose. So I toddled off from the Abbey and went to the shops, and in my head it was quite big, but what I found were these tiny little
Wow. Little
rose
teeth.
quartz roses.
Wow.
And I've been working with these. Like, that's another one as well. I ended up buying 15 of them. I bought 3, and then I was guided to go back and buy another 12. And then I gave 2 to 2 friends. And I think I'm going to put quite a few in the land. But I'm just feeling that there's a little bit more coding to come through, which I feel is this rose, crystalline rose energy. And what I did in this place, when I'd pulled this distortion out, it was like the 3 little rose quartz roses that I had were going into that area, and they were all kind of like moving around each other and like blossoming into a huge rose.
Replaced it with unconditional love for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Ciarad o hwy har y necia brynau iat od oren. Cala ciarad od o'i ai isht arad o cohod ora. Ma babal y gyda'r gyda gyda oren na ca. Hwle ciara lecia bredwn ad. Her lecia ar dy gyda an o gyd lecia. Hwle ciara dy gyda umpai it iar dy go oisht. Hal a hrwnd y cohod od aran. Hwle ciara na col lecia. Hwle a cyd erad o cwm. Al a harad y gyda gad dy ia. Hwl e harad cwd, hia le eit ea, hwl arad y cian, bal le cia hwnnw i tetatana, hwl e harad gyda oisht ai, bal ac arad y gwyd o ma gyda da ai, cil e cia arad y gwyd o ho, hal e carad y gwyd a parad y gyda gad y gwyd o'n, ar le cia parad y gwyd o laba gyda dodon, ac le cia arad y gwyd o ma da da, cil e cia arad y gwyd o gyda bag hyd i dwy'n, i arad y gwyd y cad y gwyd o cwysht, hal y harad y gwmba ad o gyda oisht. Hal y ci haran y gyda hwrn y gyda da bla. Hwrn er la gyda bla bag at y gwyd y ai. Wel harad y gyda gwyd y garad y gyda gwyd y marad y gyda gwyd y gyda gwyd y gyda gwyd y harad y gyda oi.
I felt that in my solar plexus. Thank you.
Thank you. I
think we're complete.
Yeah, I was just getting something from Andromeda. They said it doesn't have to be in code, that don't forget your strength, that even in the darkest times or the times where you feel it's just too much, to call upon them, because you're not alone. And these are very powerfully incredible times, and they're sitting up on high watching us. And even though they may not be here in the physical sense, some of them are. The ones up on high who've not come to the earth plane are walking beside us in the etherics, and to just know that the strength that you have is within, and you're not alone. The more you open your heart, the more you will feel that strength is living within inside your heart. And so it is.
Thank you.
Oh. Thank you, you three. Beautiful, amazing, powerful women. And thank you, everybody who's been with us on the live or on the replay or on YouTube. If you have resonated with this and you feel to share in any groups, please feel free to do so. And I'll put my PayPal link in the comments should anybody feel drawn to pop in a little love. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone. Thank you so much. This was a wonderful.
Thank you. This was wonderful.
Thank you.
Stop the live stream. Love, love, love.
Thank you.